Sixers head coach Brett Brown, as he's going to join us here. He's got an event coming up that a lot of area coaches should perk their ears up here. I know a lot of area coaches who listen to the show and always talk about they love hearing Coach Brown on here. So Coach Brown will get an opportunity to reach out to many of them and our listening audience out there for the third annual Coach the Coaches Clinic hosted by Brett Brown, and that is going to be at the new 76ers training complex. And he's going to give you some more details on that as we get a chance here at the beginning of the fall to talk a little Sixers with the coach of the 76ers, Brett Brown. Coach, welcome back.
Mike and Pete, how are you?
We're doing great. Hope you had a great summer. I know it probably flew by for you.
It did, but I had a good family trip to the state of Maine, where I was raised after the Vegas Summer League, and the draft and sort of the rhythm of the NBA year frees up August. And so to come back now and see our gym rolling with all the young guys coming back in shape and getting excited to play NBA basketball again, it's been a good few months.
I know before we talk about your event, Pete was kind of questioning whether I actually sat and watched ESPN 3 the other night of Dario's game. Have you been tapping into the app to watch Dario play in the Euros?
Oh, yeah. And Furkan, too. Dario had a great game against Spain yesterday. I think with my foreign basketball experience, I'm always sort of interested in FIBA basketball and the European Championship, to move forward and try to, advance into Olympic Games and World Championships and all those types of benefits. It's a big world, and, we all play basketball, and watching Dario and Furkan and so many of the players that we've either played against or coached over there, it's a fantastic event.
Yeah, Dario stuffed the stat sheet yesterday, and Pete was saying, there's no way you watch that game. Yesterday I didn't see. That game was on during a little bit before the show, but the game on Sunday.
Dedication.
Yes, dedication. Which is what you are to your craft, Coach. You got the Coach the Coaches Clinic coming up here, and we have a lot of the high school coaches in our area that love hearing you on the show just talking basketball, and they'll get that opportunity coming up on Tuesday.
They will. On Tuesday, September the 12th, we're going to host a complimentary Coach the Coaches Clinic, and it's available for coaches of all ages, boys, girls, men, women's, and they're all invited. If you're a basketball coach, you are welcome, and we try to have some fun. We try to share ideas. It's a chance to see a beautiful, NBA practice facility. And personally, I enjoy it. You sort of feel a responsibility to help the game, and the coaches in this sort of greater Philadelphia area are very committed, and it's just an incredible sort of historic basketball city that I'm honored to have these guys come and share in this night.
That's Tuesday the 12th, 6:30 to 8:30 at the training complex in Camden. And coaches that want to sign up for the clinic can use the Brett Brown Clinic.eventbrite.com. We'll tweet that out for the coaches out there. But this is youth, high school, college, and they have the opportunity to participate with you and your entire staff.
Yeah, there'll be portions of my staff here, and we're going to have different ways to teach the concepts that we're talking about. And really, with the invitations that we've sent out, and when people accept, they have the opportunity to ask questions. And what I'm trying to do is get a feel of the common denominators and the large majority of what part of basketball interests the people that will be coming the most, and then point the clinic to those sort of broad-based topics and treat it like, I would treat a practice where we go in 10-minute clumps and we hit different topics and, have a chance for question and answers. And I have people to help me demonstrate and, talk a little bit of basketball philosophy at the end. It's a good night. It's the third, year in a row we've done it. We're trying to grow it, and just really excited to continue to build on this.
Yeah, I'd like to ask you about that because we talked to a lot of the area coaches here during the season. So many kids go from high school, 1 year of college, right to you guys. What do you think some of these coaches should be focusing on now? The game has changed so much in the last 10 years or so. What do you think that some of these high school coaches maybe should start focusing on?
I mean, the coaches here do a hell of a job. And, so I would just offer broad-based things that I would want sort of shared with my own 13-year-old son. I think things that as I inherit these 20-year-olds, the discipline of like what it really looks like to be a pro. Any pro that I've ever coached that has had long time success, been in the NBA, and I've been lucky to be around all-stars and MVPs and gold medalists and all that, there's a routine of what their day looks like. And I think that the discipline of having a routine and the discipline of seeing that through the respect of time, that is, probably a lesson you'd tell anybody, also a high school coach. I think the attention to people's bodies with sports science and the health-related aspect of what it really takes to stay on a court and what it really takes, to be at your best physically and health-wise, those things, sort of a responsibility and time and commitment area, and stuff, that has a lot to do with just young people's health.
Coach, it's Pete Thompson. I want to ask you about Jahlil Okafor. Mike and I saw him down at the Sixers Summer Shore Tour down there in Wildwood Crest, and we talked about how the game is changing. And when we saw him, he sure did look in great shape, certainly better than me. But how do you see him and his game fitting into today's modern NBA, the style that Jahlil brings?
Well, you just said it, Pete. It starts with, can you play at a pace that the NBA is currently playing at and is only going to get faster. And for Jahlil to come in and shed, I think it's almost 20 pounds, really embrace sort of a vegan type of diet, is a complete statement to where his mind and his head is at. I come into a gym today and I'm looking at all of our young guys. People have a choice. You can come in early, it's a voluntary type workout. We've had 9, 10 guys. We got, a few guys that are still nursing injury, and we got 2 players, Furkan and Dario, overseas. But we have a live gym now of people like Jahlil, that have just come back in excellent shape. And the first place I go is I look at, their skin folds. You look at their body weight. And Jahlil is so sort of proud of what he's done, and he should be. And I think with that base, he really has a chance to play into a modern NBA game and how everybody knows I want to play. And I'm very fond of Jahlil, and I have tremendous respect for what he did physically over the summer to come in with this type of newfound body.
Hey, Coach, Brett Brown is with us. Before you came on, we were talking about, I don't know if you get a chance to watch any of the Hard Knocks for the Tampa Bay Bucks that they've been showing on HBO, but the last episode, the coach and the GM, they're sitting there and they're going through the roster and figuring out the 53 and making those tough decisions. I would assume that you and Brian are going to have probably some really tough conversations to have with putting that roster together. You got a deep team with a lot of really tough decisions to make this year, it seems like.
Yeah, and I think the broad sweeping comment you're making, Mike, is true. Historically, I always have felt like the gym tells me. And we have a very, very competitive situation. We will have a very competitive gym in the month of September. Players will draw their own line in the sand and claim their own sort of chunk of rotations and minutes, et cetera. And I tell them just what I just told you. You're going to tell me. And people, I think the thing that is always a challenge, and it takes time, is people playing with each other and how different groups perform best with each other, let alone sort of the individual challenge. To me, it stands out a hell of a lot easier than, the time it takes to just notice that, Dario and Markel really click. And that's the stuff, like, it just takes time. And I got guys that haven't played a second of NBA basketball nor a second together. And so that part of the equation is also of tremendous interest to me.
Well, I'll tell you this. I know you've been asked a lot, and the question about Ben playing the point has come up. I am adamantly on your side. I think that he will be a tremendous player handling the ball and starting offenses and setting guys up. It's amazing to see the intuition that he appears to have is breathtaking.
And he does it. It's a very awkward position, and I say that as a compliment. You got a 6'10" guy that is trying to grow his shot, that has completely a pass-first mentality, and he has breakaway speed like a 6'2" or a 6'3" guy would have. I've repetitively said and felt that if he were 6'4" or 6'5", the conversation about him with the ball wouldn't be as confusing to some. And I'm committed on trying to grow this and look at it. Nobody's claiming to that this is the perfect answer, but I certainly feel comfortable it's a starting point. And I've talked to him. We've sat for a year watching tape, and I'm just excited. And I know he is, and that probably excites me as much as my own sort of personal motivation.
And Brett, he sure looked great against those rec league players or whatever they were over there in Australia. Mike and I were like, whoa.
We thought maybe you set those guys up.
No, I had nothing to do with it. I think that we all get excited, don't we? When you see him flying up and down the court against 5 other players and just playing basketball. My time in Philadelphia has been sort of, hit with, Jaleel, out for a long time. Nerlens out for a year, Ben out for a year, Jared Bayless out for a year, Joel out for a year. And, we really look forward this year to getting some better luck, and to see Ben just simply play basketball in itself is a feel-good sort of statement.
That's the 3rd annual Coach the Coaches Clinic, hosted by head coach Brett Brown. It's Tuesday night, September 12th, 6:30 to 8 at the 76ers Training Complex, 3 Banner Way in Camden.
Beautiful facility.
Coaches wishing to sign up for the clinic can use the link brettbrownclinic.eventbrite.com. I just tweeted that out at Mike Gill Show on Twitter. And, Coach, we wish you the best, of course, keeping everybody healthy, and we will talk to you as the season gets closer.
No, Mike and Pete, thanks so much for your time.